Hi, good afternoon. I'm Julie. I'm here again. As I said in previous videos, we live in France, and so to get vegetarian sausages here is pretty much impossible, really, or they're full of fat. So because I'm very careful on that side of things as well. This is a recipe I've come across, and you can adapt it to your taste, really. So I'm going to give you a list of the ingredients first. So your main bulk of protein for this would be some sort of bean. In here I've got chickpeas. Here we buy them by the jar, but you can put a can in, depends on your sausages you want to make, really. For us, I tend to put one large jar in here. They're rinsed and drained, and then I use a potato masher to get all of the pieces basically squashed down. If my daughter sees that it's got chickpeas in it, she wouldn't eat it. So, and she's very happy to eat these. She really likes them, but it's what the child doesn't know. Obviously, she's going to eat. So, I have to squish mine so there's absolutely nothing left except pulp. So, into this, I'm going to add some ingredients. So, I'm going to add breadcrumbs, and this is just to basically bind the whole thing together and to give it bulk. I don't put too many in, I have to admit. These are wholemeal breadcrumbs. It's up to you whether you want to use a white or anything. My normal trick is I forget that I'm doing sausages and then try and make breadcrumbs out of frozen bread. Today I've been a bit more organised and I've taken them out and they've zooped up very quickly. So I've got the breadcrumbs there. I'm going to put a herb in. You could put sage in if you want like a sage and onion flavour. I really like these. This is herbs de Provence, and they're a really lovely flavour in with the sausages. But as I say, it's entirely up to you what sort of flavour you want to come out at the end of the sausage. The other thing you need to have is an egg to bind the whole thing together. A leek. Now this is quite a chunky leek I've got here. It looks loads in here. But what I'm going to do is cook that down very, very gently until it's extremely soft, and it'll reduce in size quite a lot, actually. I'm just going to cook that in some olive oil. The other thing then to add is a little bit of salt and pepper seasoning. If you want to spice them up, you could add chili to that, or other bits and pieces if you want to put them into the sausage. This works very well for us, especially with children, because they can be a bit fussy. So all I'm going to do now is soften these, and then I'll show you how it looks when it all mixes together. And we're just going to roll that then into some flour, and then we're going to lightly cook them, lightly fry them. But I'm not very good with oils and things. I don't like too much oil in our food, so I tend to use a spray oil. And just spray them occasionally as they're cooking. So the only other ingredient left then would be some olive oil, and you just need to put a bit of a glug in there, really, just to give it some fat to be able to cook with. But as I said, again, I use olive oil for that. So I'm just going to cook these, and then I'll come back to you and show you what they look like. Okay. I just want to show you this leek cooking. It's softening down really well at the moment. It's really sort of starting to just soften and get a bit mushy, so that you're able to mix the leek in with the breadcrumbs and the beans. So I'm just going to continue cooking that for a bit longer. That's been on about 5 minutes, something like that at the moment. It's probably going to take maybe another 5 minutes just to make sure it's really soft, otherwise it's impossible to form these sausages. Okay, I'll show you in a moment. Hi, I'm back again. Right, so far for these sausages, I've got in this bowl here, I've now got the chickpeas which have been squished. I have used other beans as well, so pinto or something like that, whichever one you prefer the flavour of, really. So in here is the softened leek and also the chickpeas. And into that now I'm going to add the other ingredients. So I just want to show you how much I'm going to put in. What I'm doing is mixing the two together at the moment, so I can sort of see how many breadcrumbs I need in it, because I don't really want the sausage to be completely made up of bread, which is just a bit stodgy, I think. So I'm just going to pop those together. Because the onions are soft, they're now sticking to the chickpeas, which are mashed as well, so that's good. I'm not going to put any chilli in these ones today because I know my daughter, she's kind of odd. She likes hot things sometimes and other things, you know, she won't touch it. So there we go. That's the first stage. Now I'm going to put some herbs in. I'm not very good on the measuring really. I'll have to work out how much I actually put in, but it's to preference. I'm just going to pop some of that in and have a look at it and see what it looks and smells like. The scent off of herbs de Provence is lovely. And I kind of feel, because we're in France, I should add a little bit of French herbs into my food. So that's the first one. Into that now I'm going to add some of the breadcrumbs. In here I've got 2 pieces of bread ground up, so I'm just going to see what it looks like and see how much I need. I haven't got all of it in yet. I'm just going to mix that again. When you come to making the sausages, I'm afraid there's no easy way about it. It's just messy. But once I've done them, I let them sit in the refrigerator just to settle down a bit and become more sort of solid before I start cooking them. Now I'm going to probably put in the rest of those breadcrumbs because, as you can see, it's not really very bready at all. They're only 2 thin slices of bread. So I'll just pop the rest of those in. So that's 2 slices of bread gone into that. As I said, they're not very thick, those slices. It's not like using the one that you cut yourself. There we go. This makes quite a substantial amount to eat, and also we've had them cold the next day with some pickle or something like that. So here we go. Now into that one now, I'm going to add a little bit of pepper. Again, depends on who you're feeding, whether or not it's like it's spicy. I'm going to add a little bit of salt. We tend to use the low sodium because of heart issues in the family. So that's going in also. Then I'm going to put 1 egg in. This is just to bind the whole thing together. That's going in now. Luckily my neighbour gave me these the other day and they're from the farm, so they're nice and fresh. And also just a little bit of olive oil just to give it that extra oomph. Not too much, I don't put in there. You can always add a little bit more or add more when you're cooking. I don't really like a huge amount in our food. Right, I'm just going to mix all of this together now. I've got a bowl here ready with some flour in, just plain flour. I suppose you could use wholemeal too if you wanted to. This is just to roll the sausages into as you're going along. No, I'm just going to really mix this together now because I've put the egg inside this. It's already looking like a sausage filling. I'll just show you now. As you can see the difference, yeah, you can hear it. It's just wet enough really to stay formed. Right, I'm going to just take one of these and show you what it's like. It really is messy. If you can get the kids to do it with you, it's even more fun. So I'm going to use about a tablespoon, an English sized tablespoon, and then I'm going to put some flour on my hands. It is messy. And then into that I'm just going to place the spoonful, and I'm just going to form that into a sausage shape. I suppose if you're not that bothered about it looking like a sausage, you could have a pate shape as well. Now that's the sort of size I've made here. I'm just going to roll that then into the flour, and it should look like that when you're finished. So I'm just going to put all of these, I'm going to set them all up into a dish, ready to cook them all in one go. So again, I'll make another one. This would be a bit boring to watch all of these, so I'm just going to do the 2. Then I'll show you when they're all rolled out, and then I'll show you what they look like when they've cooked. Everybody that's come and eaten these has really liked them. So we haven't done too badly. It's really nice actually with a a chutney, like I made an Indian chutney, which I've also put on video. That goes really well with it. Or I've seen also, I think it was a Hairy Biker's recipe for a spicy onion relish, which is also very good with them. So here we go. I'm just going to show you those and then I'll come back. So I'm down to 3 at the moment and they're pretty much all sort of similar. Try not to squish them with your fingers because otherwise you'll end up with all sorts of shapes and the oil will have trouble cooking the uneven areas. So I'm just going to turn this off and I'll come back. Okay, thanks. Hi, this is just to show you what they look like when they come out. You can see the leek coming through the sausage, and just put it normally with anything else you have sausages with, new potatoes and vegetables, whatever else you're going to have. And as I say, we like to have a little bit of sort of spicy chutney on the side as well.